Greetings, people of the internet. Welcome back to the channel. We're going to start a new project today. This time we're going to work on an Optonica cassette deck made by Sharp, model number RT-6505. This was available in silver as well as the RT-6501. This is a model that dates back to 1978, so this is 45 years old. This will make it the oldest tape deck by far that I've worked on, at least for the channel. I do have a Sony TCK45 that's about 1 year newer than this, but as I've said in previous videos, that one's already been restored, so yeah, we're not going to be working on that one on the channel anytime soon. Anyhow, I've been scouring eBay over the last several months looking for interesting project decks, and this guy immediately got my attention. I've been wanting to work on a Sharp unit for some time now because I've been wanting one of their, well, I don't know if it's one or more than one, but I've been wanting to work on some of their boom boxes for a while now. So I thought I'd get this thing as a way to just sort of see what they're all about and see how easy they are to fix and whatnot. And I got to tell you guys right now, I'm still looking for interesting stuff to buy for the channel on eBay, but it's become extremely hard now. And I just don't know how much more of this stuff I'm going to be able to do this year. So just keep in mind that as of right now, eBay has gone in and done something to their shipping stuff. I don't know what they've done, but they've completely ludicrously broken it, at least in terms of me importing stuff from the United States. This guy here came from Canada. That's the only reason why it's here. And it's the only reason why this incoming Sony is coming, because I've been pretty much restricted to Canada only thanks to eBay's insane shipping quotes these days. I don't know if you're in Canada and you've been on eBay US lately, but lately, some of these tape decks I've been finding have been stuff like this, broken for parts or repair. And yet, when I look at the shipping for them, there's really something screwy going on. I will find a tape deck, like there's a Sharp tape deck I found just the other day, and I'll give you footage of that right now. It said on the search results it was going to be 16 bucks of shipping, which is a little suspicious already coming from the States, because $16 is never how cheap it is. But yet when I got into the listing itself, it showed some crazy number, like 150 or something like that. And no, I am not buying junk tape decks from the United States for $150 worth of shipping. It's just not feasible. There's a bunch of stuff down there I would love to get to fix up for the channel, but whatever they've done with the shipping has completely ruined it for me. So I'm just at this point now where I can't buy any really interesting tape decks from the States because they've all got $120, $150, sometimes even $200 or more of shipping on them. So as long as that's going to be the case, I'm not going to buy stuff from the States. I'm willing to go up to 200 bucks for the really nice decks, like my Carver. I think that one was about, oh, what was it? About $200 shipped. And I think the Sansui D905R was also about 200 shipped. See, that I can do for 3-head decks. 200 shipped. I will not do 500 shipped. I will not do 400 shipped. I will do 200 shipped, and that's my line. And yes, I'd love to get Nakamichi, but you add $200 worth of shipping on top of some of these things sellers are asking for those units. Anyway, enough ranting about that. Let's get into this unit. Now, the most interesting part of this deck has to be all this button stuff that's going on the front panel here. I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but growing up in the 80s, I was a gigantic Knight Rider fan. So anything with buttons I was in love with. This would have just driven me crazy back then. Speaking of which, Kit, You there, buddy? Are you there? Kit, I need some octopus repellent. So no octopus repellent? Is Devin there? Can he get me some? Must not be listening today. Anyway, let's get started on this. Right now what I'm going to do is we're just going to have a look at the basic operation, see what works, see what doesn't work, see what we have to order for it, because it's 45 years old. I'm assuming all the rubber is bad, and probably most of the capacitors too, so let me just plug this right in here. Okay, we've got something in the display. I don't know if you can see it. We've got missing segments in the display. I'm using this Filmic Legacy stuff because Filmic Pro is no longer consumer friendly, so I would love to shift cameras on this phone right now, but I can't, so I don't know if you can see it, but the LCD is on. We've got missing segments. We should have 8888. We've got 8E8N, I guess. We're going to have to work on that, maybe. I've got mixed results trying to fix LCDs before, but who knows? Maybe I can do it this time. Now, the seller's description said that the transport doesn't work and the lights don't work, so let's find out how much of that is actually functional. Okay, well, we've got an LCD light, and I don't know if you can see it. But the VU lights are working as well. So it's not to say that the seller was wrong. I would bet money that some of the filaments in these lamps in here are intermittent. So I'm probably going to have to end up replacing that stuff. And I'm using the cinematic stabilization, so I hope that's working. Anyhow, I don't know exactly how to set this. Doesn't seem to be responding, does it? Oh, there's the clock. Yeah, I really don't know how to use this thing yet. I'll figure it out. But I'm assuming I'm going to have to fix up that display before we can do much figuring out of that. But LCD light doesn't seem to be doing much. We'll turn off the zero rewind. I'm guessing we've got a... Oh, there's another clock in there. Okay, whatever. And we've got a digital tape counter, of course, which is kind of nice, especially for a unit from 1978 when that was very uncommon. These pots will probably need cleaning, so we'll do that. I don't know about doing that today, but we'll do that. Now, this being a 1978 unit, this will have support for 3 tape types: normal, chromium dioxide, and ferrochrome. And ferrochrome was a very short-lived tape type because metal came along right after it and pretty much blew it out of the water, so ferrochrome never got its day in the sun. But this is now the second deck I have that supports ferrochrome, behind that Sony I mentioned earlier, the TCK45. So we've got an editor button here. I don't know what that does. Pause works okay. Let's see here. Let's find out what happens when we hit play. Oh, we've got issues here. See that? That that is the telltale sign of a record switch that is dirty. So I think we'll probably address that in this video. I've got the contact cleaner right here, so we're going to work on that. It's easy enough to do. Anyhow, let me pull this towards me a little bit. Let me angle you down some. I'm going to eject here, and we're going to see what happens when the transport tries to play. All right. I'm actually noticing something immediately here. You see there's this brown stuff around the pinch roller? That's old grease. I don't know if you can see it. But yeah, we are going to have to deal with that. And the pinch roller is hard as a rock. So ideally you'd want to replace that, but I don't know if I can find a new pinch roller for this. So what I will try is this stuff. We're going to rubber renew that pinch roller and see if we can bring it back around. But let me just see again what happens here. Okay, pinch roller is being driven. Take-up reel is not being driven. So I'm guessing we've got some issues down in there. Let's see, how's the head? Needs cleaning for sure. We can do that, easy enough. I don't think it's really badly worn. Actually, let me stop you right now and I'm going to go get a flashlight. All right, I got my flashlight here. Let's see what we got going on. Oh yeah, there is a bunch of old dried up grease around that pinch roller. We are definitely going to have to deal with that. Fortunately, it doesn't look like it's hard to remove. Just got one of those E-clips holding it on. Yeah, those heads need some cleaning big time. So let me just do that right now so we can see the actual condition of said heads. We'll give them a couple of passes. Now we're not going to be able to actually tell how this deck sounds like for quite some time because obviously it's not hooked up to anything right now. But there may be quite a few bad capacitors in there, so at the very least we're going to be dealing with having to re-rubber this entire mechanism before we can actually tell what's going on for sound quality. There is some wear on the heads, I gotta say. It's not real bad, but not real good either. Fortunately, I did not buy this as a high-end audiophile listening deck. This was more just a thing to add to my collection. But who knows, it might still sound half decent. Okay, let's continue on with the transport here. We haven't checked fast forward and rewind. Oh, now the take-up reel's moving. How about rewind? What have we got there? Nothing. Motor's on. Nothing's happening. It wants to turn. It's making all kinds of weird noises in there. We'll stop it from doing that. So yeah, we got a rewind problem. We've got a play problem. The only thing that's actually working is fast forward. And fair disclosure, when I first got this and I had to leave feedback, I did check the transport at that time, and I found that the pinch roller was completely frozen in place. So yeah, sorry to say you guys aren't doing this for the first time with me on camera, but like I said, I had to check it out for the eBay stuff, so yeah. So what did I pay for this, you may ask? Well, I think it was something like $120. He was asking a bit much for this at first, so I thought, okay, I'll just keep an eye on this listing and then we'll see if we can pick it up for cheaper later. And then he discounted it, so I bought it cheaper for later. Or later for cheaper. Or cheaper for cheaper. Or later for later. Something like that. Anyhow, we've got a lot of issues with this transport, so let's say no more right now. Let me get the cover off on this thing and we'll check out the insides. All right, the cover is off. Let's see what we can see. And immediately I see the record switch. This is it right here. So how about we just go ahead and we clean that real quick here. See if I can do this one-handed. Well, probably can't do it one-handed. Sorry to shake you around. My little tripod ain't cooperating because of course it's not. Why would it? All right, we're gonna tilt this up like this. And let's see here. Okay, I see how that switch works. What I'm gonna do right now is I'm just gonna see if I can get this in here and there. Now we gotta cycle that switch. And I'm gonna do it one more time, just to be safe. I'm gonna tilt it up like this, try to get it from the back side here. If I can. This is hard to do on camera. All right, and again, we'll cycle this switch a bunch of times. Now we've got some other switches that probably need cleaning, but I don't think I'll tackle those just yet. I just want to see if I can get one thing fixed in this video, and that's the VU meters pegging themselves like they did. Anyhow, let's continue on here. We'll let that dry out. All right, look at the state of these pots. These are nasty looking. I bet you they all need replacing too. I don't know exactly what I would replace those with though. Maybe a cleaning will work on those, maybe it won't. And we've got a bunch of 40-something-year-old capacitors here. Let me get my flashlight on it again. I'm just looking for signs of leaking electrolyte under any of these capacitors. Don't really see too much, but then again, they're all glued in. Well, most of them are glued in. If there are any bad ones, they're going to be in the power supply, so let's check there. Oh, we got a nice big power resistor hanging out here, down at the bottom. All right. More capacitors. It's really hard to tell, but it looks like this one at the very top here that I'm aiming the flashlight at right now. Looks like it's kind of bulging and leaking at the bottom, which wouldn't surprise me. This likely needs a full recap after 45 years. I don't see anything with bulging tops, but these are Nippon Chemicon, so they don't usually tend to bulge at the top. They usually tend to leak from the bottom, I find. If they leak at all. So yeah, I think we're going to plan on a full recap of at least the power supply. I don't know if I've got the parts on hand. Probably not. Have to get another DigiKey order together. But yeah, let's move on to the transport here. How does this belt feel? Surprisingly good considering it's 45 years old. Unless it's been replaced once, which is possible. Now let me spin this around here. We're going to have to get that transport out just to look at the drive components for the reels. So let me see if I can figure out how to do that. And I'll get the transport out off camera, and then we'll take a look. All right, so here we go. I got the transport out. It's really not that difficult, but you do have to loosen this up first. And I'm going to warn you right now. Let's see if I can get you back here. You got to watch out for this. This is the ribbon cable that runs from the electronics over to the LCD back behind there. You will have to free this up before you can get the faceplate loose enough to get the transport out. And you also have to disconnect this spring. And then there are 3 screws, one here, one up here, and then one that goes in underneath there before the transport comes out. Then it's just this connector here, this one here, then you got to unplug this one here from the top of the transport. So yeah, now looking at this transport, I already see problems. There's the rewind gear right there. I don't know if you can see it very well, but there are broken teeth on that gear, so that needs to be replaced. So that's likely why we didn't get our rewind. Yeah, you can definitely see it right there. At the very top there. Clear broken teeth in that. That's why it was making those funny noises. Now, what else we got going on here? Well, it appears that the take-up reel is driven in playback by the capstan, and there's supposed to be a little bit of a rubber idler down in that capstan thing. I'm going to have to put the flashlight down to show this to you. But right down in there is an idler tire. That is shot on this thing. So we need one of those. Now we've got this little belt up here. How does that feel? Not too bad, but we might as well replace it while we're in here. And we've also got an idler tire right there. Let's see if I can set this flashlight up to put light on the thing. Yeah, right there we've got an idler, and that clearly needs to be replaced. So we'll do that too. But wait, there's more. We've got another idler. At least I think I saw one. Yes, I did. Yeah, there's an idler down in there. At least I think it's an idler. It looks very badly cracked, so we need that too. Wonder if I can even find that one. It looks like that idler is what turns the gear in front to drive the rewind and the take-up. Yeah, I think that's what's going on there. So yeah, we need a full set of rubber for this thing. And I do mean a full set. I don't know what I can find, if I can find anything at all, but I'm going to have to hit eBay and stuff and go looking. I know that there are some 3D printed gears that will replace this, which is good because, oh Lord, this is so brittle. It's just, I'm just destroying it with my fingernail now. Yeah, these teeth are just, oh good Lord. I got a big chunk missing out of that thing now, so I'm going to stop doing that. So yeah, we need that gear. We need that, at least that playback idler. The good news is, even if we can't get the rewind working, if we can just get it to play, that's probably going to be good enough. I don't need this to do rewind as long as it does fast forward, if you know what I mean. So yeah. Oh boy, do we have a lot to work on with this thing. 45 years old, I'm not surprised. Whoops. Did not mean to do that. Just trying to set this back up so we can look in here again. Of course, it's not cooperating. All right. So yeah, you can see that idler down in there, past the two capacitors. That is very badly cracked. I don't know how exactly I would get in there to service that, but there's got to be a way. Probably not a fun way, but there's got to be a way. Anyhow, we know what's needed now. So how about I go off camera again? I'll put this back in after taking pictures and making an inventory of what I need here. I've likely got this belt, and I've likely got a new belt for the cap stand as well. So I'm not worried about those. But yeah, these idlers are going to be a problem. So I guess I will try and measure them. I don't know. We'll see what I can do off camera, and then we'll put this back together. Then we'll see if we've at least got that problem with the VU meters fixed. Just one more little thing before I put this back together and we test out whether or not I got that recording switch fixed. I just found this a little interesting. It looks like what Sharp did was they used these little, actually quite large switches to indicate which mode the deck is in here. And they used these little spring type dealies to manipulate those switches. I just thought that was kind of neat. Anyway, here we've got a better look at that idler from behind. So yeah, that looks really, really cracked. I suppose if need be, I can try and rubber renew that thing, but I don't know how successful I would be, but I'm going to try to find a replacement. If not, well, no big deal. It's 45 years old. I've got other tape decks I can use. It's just a nice thing to have in my collection, so... Okay, now I'm going to finish putting this back together, and then we'll test. All right, here we go. Got it back together. Just going to give her the juice here, and then we'll see if we got at least one thing working. Still got that weird display going on in the LCD. Still got lights up there and lights in the mirror. Now before I put this back together, I'm going to measure these lights to see what kind of voltage they're running at. And I'm going to probably get replacements for these lamps because after all this time, they do need doing. And we already know that the seller indicated on this unit that the lights were not working at the time he tried it. So obviously there's an issue, so we're going to get that addressed. But that's when we get to the electronics part of this. First thing we got to do is get this transport working, and good Lord, does it need a lot of work. This is probably the most service needed of any cassette deck I've tried yet. So let's just take a look at the VU meters here, and then we'll see if we got this record switch cleaned up. And I'm going to say yes. Look at that. No movement. I'm going to turn up the output and the inputs just in case, and we'll try it again. Nope, that's working now. So we did get one thing fixed today. Most likely I'm going to have to clean all of those controls too, but we'll work on that more once we get to the electronics part of this, like I said. All right, it took me a few tries to get an actual measurement off these lamps to see what they are, but looks like we're dealing with 6 volts AC here, which is perfect because I actually need 6 volt micro lamps for incoming project, I think. We'll see. Possibly, I don't know. We haven't gotten to the next project yet because it's not even here yet, so yeah. So now I know what I need here. I need all brand new rubbers for this transport, and possibly unknown amounts of electronics repairs need to be done. Full recap of the power supply, of course, is going to happen. Most likely a bunch of capacitors over here need to be done as well, but we'll take on those on a case-by-case basis, I think. Maybe I'll do all the most common big ones and just leave the little ones alone. That's kind of what I do for tape deck capacitors in the absence of an oscilloscope, which I know I should get. It's been on my list of stuff to get for a while, is a new oscilloscope, because the one I used for power supply reviewing is long gone back to its original owner, or rightful owner I should say, because that was borrowed for all those years. So I don't have a scope right now, and I'm not willing to buy one of those cheap ones you find on Amazon for $100 or so. You don't get quality at $100 for an oscilloscope, brand new, and you certainly can't get one used for that kind of money either, because people are insane. So yeah, in order for me to get a half-decent oscilloscope, I'm looking at maybe $400, and that's about the cheapest you can get for a decent quality Siglent or Regal or whatever. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and order the rubber parts if I can find them. And then maybe we'll see you all again in part 2. Take care.